vlog. So this is just my vlog that I'm gonna be doing from here on out, hopefully, to kind of document my DCP journey. So in this video, I'm gonna go over what the application process was, because I know whenever I was doing the application process, I video researched so many of the current and past DCPers going through the process, just because I like to know like what to expect. And then I'm actually going to be doing a role announcement, because I just got my role last week, so it's gonna kind of be a 2-for-1 video now. So first off, I decided on which semester I wanted to do my DCP for. So I actually, as I'm making this video, I graduated 2 days ago, so I knew I wanted to do the spring semester after I graduated, just because I didn't want it to mess with my credits or anything like that, or getting off of whenever I'm supposed to graduate. And so I knew they were going to be coming out, the applications were going to be coming out around August, September time, so I kind of just kept an eye out on it. And I was also getting like emails from Disney just on their email list. So whenever my application came out, it was the last Wednesday of August. I want to say it was August 29th or 27th, around there. I was actually on campus and I got the email during a class, and luckily it was towards the end of that class, and so I had a break, and then I literally sat myself outside and I said, I'm gonna apply for it, whether I get in or not. Or I also knew I wanted to be applying for a couple of the professional internships, so I was just applying for whatever I could, and I was just gonna figure it out from there. So I applied for the Disney College program, and it was actually a very easy process. I ended up not submitting a resume. I just filled in the previous work experience that they already had on the application, so that was super easy. And a tip that I did was I didn't put like my most recent experiences. So as this video is being filmed, I had 3 jobs throughout this semester in college. I was a tour guide on campus, I was a server at a nearby restaurant, and then I am also a graphic design intern for my athletic foundation here at my school. So I'm pretty sure I could put up to 5 past experiences. So I put my tour guide, and then I want to say I put my restaurant. I ended up not putting my internship, just because I was saving that for whenever I was applying for the professional internships, and I knew I wanted to do some of my more previous work. For instance, I worked as a teacher's assistant back at my mom's elementary school back home, so I put that. I put that I was a camp counselor one summer and basically ran the entire camp by myself. And then I also put that I was an assistant dance teacher, and now that all went back like a couple of years ago from whenever I was graduating from high school. But I knew I wanted to put work experience that I had not only with the public, so my restaurant as well as my tour guide job, but also that I had experience with working with kids, more particularly because I knew that children's activities was one of the jobs that I wanted to get. So after I filled out all of my prior work experience, from what I remember, it was just some basic information then. Name, address, am I able to work in the US, sort of thing. So it was a very easy process. I think it only took me, I want to say it took me 45 minutes to fill it, but that's also because I wanted to make sure everything was perfect, how I worded everything, and just I just wanted to make sure everything was perfect. So I looked over it, I think 3 different times before I actually submitted it. And then it just said submitted, and then I want to say it was about 2 days later that I got a web-based interview. And so, as many people know, they are just now doing web-based interviews. They're not doing phone interviews after the web-based interview. So I was like, oh my god, this is like the last step, whether I get it or not. So I did the web-based interview. I'm pretty sure it was that night because I had practice. So after practice, I went home and I had my boyfriend literally sit down with me just so I was reading the questions out loud. So I could just hear myself and then think before I answer. But I also had him right beside me to read it with me to make sure I wasn't misreading it, because some of the questions can be a little tricky on the wording, so I wanted to make sure I was answering it correctly. So I did the web-based interview, and there are tons of videos out there that go over more specific questions that are in it. At this point, I blacked out during that interview and I don't remember a lot of the questions, but I do remember answering either strongly disagree or strongly agree, and I might have answered neutral maybe tops 2 different times, because you want to make sure that you are very certain in your answers. So after my web-based interview, I got that I was a strong candidate, which I was stoked. And then the waiting game happened. So that happened, I'm gonna say that Friday after I had applied. And then it took forever to hear back. Well, it felt like an eternity. And I can't remember the exact date, but I want to say it was sometime in October that I had received the email on the decision. And I remember this very vividly. I was in my one class, and it was at the start of the class, and this class was 2 hours and 45 minutes long. I got an email, and all it said was the Walt Disney World Company. I was like, oh my lord. So I opened it, and then I got the acceptance letter. It said everything, and therefore I just had to excuse myself, and I called my mom and I called my boyfriend, and I could cry at that point, but I knew I was not gonna cry because I had to go back into class for another 2 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, it was a whirlwind. And then pretty much after you get that acceptance letter, you fill out a bunch of different paperwork, you get registered for dorms, and then you pay your dues. From there on out, I went to a couple different of the welcome sessions that they were that the DCP was holding via Zoom, where they just gave you a bunch of more information about the program, and then were answering a bunch of the questions that we were sending in, which was super helpful. I joined a bunch of different group me's, some just in general for the Disney College program, and then once I found out what my dates were, I found a group me for everyone arriving on the date that I was, and then a group me for everyone that is my specific dates. So I'm going to be there January 9th to June 1st, which is super exciting. And so nothing really happened after that for a while. And then we got an email saying about parking. And this is whenever we can buy our parking decals for Flamingo Crossing, so that kind of determined whether I was getting a car or not. And I ended up getting my parking decal, so I will have my car down in Orlando, which is super exciting. And then last week, so December 9th, so that is exactly 1 month before I move in for my college program, we were expecting an email to get our tentative roles. And we didn't know whether it was coming exactly on the 9th or exactly 4 weeks before we moved in. No one knew. and no one got any emails in the morning or anything like that. But around 1 o'clock, my phone started to blow up, and I was at my internship. Luckily, it was kind of just a down day. We weren't really doing anything, and my phone started blowing up that check your emails, check your dashboard. Even if you didn't get an email, just check it. People were saying what roles they got, and I actually have a clip of whenever I opened up my email, and I'll put that in at some point. I got attractions. I'm super excited to announce that I am working in attractions in East Fantasyland. I'm super excited because Magic Kingdom is my favorite park out of all of them, and Fantasyland is one of my favorite lands in there. Now, this is just a tentative role, but it probably won't change before I get there, where it normally doesn't. But I don't know what attraction that I will be working at yet. I could either get Mine Train, Journey into the Seas with Journey under the Little Mermaid ride, as well as I could get Dumbo and Barnstormer. So I'm super excited. And yeah, so basically right now I'm moving out of college. I'm going home for a couple weeks, and then I will be driving back down to Florida to move in, and I really hope to be continuing these vlogs, not only for y'all's enjoyment, which I hope you enjoy them, but also kind of just a little documentary, and so that I can look back on them. But if you guys have any questions for me, or you have any video ideas that you want to see whenever I do start my program, please comment them down below. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to see all my future vlogs and all my journeys throughout the DCP.